Hello traders, good week. Vladimir here, and this is a weekly Forex review and forecast for the coming week, 17 to 21 of October 2016. Well, last week started interesting, ended up extremely boring, doing almost nothing except the yen pairs, which started a great move on Friday, and that would be one of the opportunities we will discuss. But very first, a quick view on the news to come. It starts with Monday, where Draghi will have a speech, then a speech from Lowe in Australia, monetary policy in Australia. Then we have the CPI in Britain, which could have a great effect on the pound and could be the reason for the pound rally that might come. We have CPI in US on Tuesday, GDP industrial production in China, the GDP price index in New Zealand, of course, a very interesting one to follow. Wednesday is going to be very busy and interesting as we have rates in Canada and press conference in Canada and the unemployment rate and employment change in Australia. Thursday, rates in the Eurozone, and that's all basically the most important things. Well, this week is going to be much more fundamental than the previous one, and maybe that was one of the reasons why this last week we've had, it was pretty quiet. Market is waiting for some serious stuff. So let's go over the great opportunities we have. First of all, let's start with the CAD yen, a pair I've been talking about many times. We still have the monster trend line and bouncing that right from the bottom, and we still have the bounce of 161.8 of this pair. This is a massive support area, and we come closer. We do start to build a bullish divergence here on a monthly chart. On weekly chart, we already have divergences with a bullish false break, so it really looks good. And if we drop lower, we can see that on the daily chart, this wedge pattern we've had also starts its break down. You can see that like here, holding that with the gap it had on previous week. So technically we are after buys now. If we take a look also some statistical view and some buy action zone, sell action zone, buy money flow, we will see. Let's take a look here. CAD yen on the short term, right? We are after buys longer term, but on the short term, if we put it right here, we can see that we have a pretty serious days to come. 17, 18, 19, 21. All this week, starting from the 17, going through 21st, right? The entire week brings us to the potential tops. So we should get ready for possible reversals. If we start to analyze for cycles, we can learn that there is a pretty nice chance that this pair is going to complete a triple cycle which will make this 1, 2, this is a range, and 3. We already have a divergence hill, it's rebuilding itself. That could be a cycle by itself, double, and that could be double to bring us to 161.8. So the closer we come to 80, the stronger the pressure would be on the sell. Now, if we measure this, 161.8 would weight us around 80. If we measure this double cycle here with, where is my line here? Here we go. With a triangle, the duplication there meets us slightly above 80. And if we measure the last one, this one, guess where the 161 is waiting us? Around 80. So this is going to be a monster area where we should start look for possible sells. Now, since we are going against weekly chart, we will want to trade it conservative. Conservative means we would like to get false break. So I believe there should be something like this. And there we should start to look for false breaks and momentumal change, which means lower lows. 2 false breaks in a row, okay, would be a great call, of course, and then we can also apply the break of the trend line sells. Okay, so basically the closer we go to 80, and on these days to come, we are after sales. Now, if we take here and a look, we have a classical area of sell zones around 70, 980 up to 80, and we have next one around 80.40. You see, this is a very, very, very powerful zone of sells, which is also well seen on the 4-hour chart. It even brings us a bit higher. So basically, everything around 80 should start be very interesting for us as a sell. Now, does that mean that on a short term we might be looking for buys? Well, I would say yes, and pretty easy until this area, as long as this trend line holds, of course. So if we can get by the beginning of the week, two waves down, we can try this long towards the 80, right? It will give us pretty small risk, very nice reward. That's what we can try. Another opportunity that we might look for would be some kind of range here on the beginning of the week, and then boom, a move. That's also two scenarios to follow on a very short term, and then mid-term for some kind of reversals. And after that, we expect a continuation. Now note, there is a pretty good chance that this false break might be reflected once again with another false break. So here, break up and retrace down, and that could turn to be extremely interesting opportunity. OZN, a pair we have been talking about so many times as well, holding and close the gap at the beginning of the week and holding the breakout of the channel. Now here comes the interesting thing of the OZN. If we observe here, we kind of playing in between the buy action zone and a sell action zone. On the short term, that's where the sell action zone actually took us to. We can say that if we go closer inside this channel to the broken here, to the broken channel, okay, that's around the 79 and slightly lower, inside this money flow channel, we should get ready for great buy opportunities. Now on the statistical view, what can we learn? Okay, we don't have anything really affecting the pair so far, right? We have 17, right, and we have 20. So there might be some pullbacks. They are not for sure on the very top. A week after, it might get more interesting as we have 20, 22, 23 all together. So the way I see that, there is a pretty good chance we are going to see some pullbacks here and continuation during the week further. So that's exactly the plan I want to go here. We hold the breakout out of the range. I believe there is more to go for, at least 100 points. Actually, I would expect some kind of duplication of the wave. So around 80, 50, maybe 81 should be great. On the 1 hour chart, what I would like to see is we had triple cycle right here, 1, 2, 3. I would like to get this. The moment we have this, this could be a really nice opportunity to go for buy. The risk should be small, the opportunity should be much bigger, and that could be very, very interesting one to go with. And I want to remind you once again why at all we are after the buys here, because of this triple cycle, special cycle, call it really whatever you prefer. The idea is the same. With the bullish divergence, we are only after buys here for the longer run, of course. That's all for these two pairs, really nice opportunities. Now let's go over some other ones we have on our list. Let's start with the dollar CAD franc. A pair I believe is going much higher, as you know. I've been talking about that not once, not twice. It had I was looking, actually, to be honest, for a down move, and still was around 0.70 to 50, but it seems game over for this one. It breaks the trend line again, holds above that, and looks really, really good. So from my point of view, every 2 waves down would be an opportunity to go for buy. We still have the trend line. Every time we can get closer, we should reconsider buys. How? Drop down, false breaks, and we can jump in the buys with the break of trend lines, with the break of steps breakouts. You know what step breakouts is, guys? This 1, 2, 3, boom. So it's like move, correction, boom. That's a step breakout also after the false break to occur. So this could be like a false break here, break below this low, which would be fake, and here it could make a great move. Now on the short term, if we take a look here, what can we learn from this pair? That it's reaching on the 4 hour chart some possible, you see that? Reversal zone. So we might start to get it slowly moving down to this place somewhere, 7075 and a bit lower, back to the money flow channel, which after, that's the only place where we have this sell action zone. You see that? We've been playing inside this area, and that's really interesting one, especially according to the cash flow channel. So short-term sales, ideally back to this channel zone, or even on the 1 hour chart we can apply that to see where the current channel zone is right here. So if we can come closer, we should get looking for the buy opportunities. It looks very doable and very possible on the daily chart as well, of course. And according to the statistics, this pair applied and reached, you see where the tops are. We don't have nothing too crazy that should affect that. We have 15 appears here and 18. 2 dates, some pullbacks range, which could provide short-term sell opportunities. But basically, it all starts right after the 27, 28, 29. That's where we might have an issue, and that would happen somewhere here probably. So pullbacks, and we're looking for buys as long as this trend line holds and this bottom holds. That's 0.7420. Pullbacks, looking for buys. False breaks would be ideal setup, of course. Let's move on and let's take a look a bit on the interesting pairs of the euro dollar, pound dollar, and so on. We talk about the interesting cross. Let's go over euro dollar. So far holds the trend line and the breakout of this triangle, which we have been talking about, gaining the momentum, of course. Monster move, as we might say. There is nothing preventing the euro dollar from continuing besides one thing. 16 of the months, this is the top bottom, and that's what I expect. On the short term, we might get some kind of reversal pullback here, getting some kind of correction and providing us further opportunities after that to go for sales all the way to the end of the month, where we start to see some more serious days like 23, 26, 28. That's where it should start at. So sell the rallies for the euro dollar. On the short term, we have this where is the euro dollar? Here we go. On the short term, we have this only that's below 109 on a daily chart, and basically every rallies we would like to go and sell to there. And here on the 4 hour chart, that's where we might start to look for the possible opportunities to go and trade. That would also complete for us this kind of special cycle movement. So the zone, this is the first zone, and this would be the next zone. That's where we will be looking for false breaks and possible reversals towards the channel, towards the trend line. Where from, we would be looking again for sell opportunities. That's for the euro dollar. And the pound dollar, well, the pound dollar is mysterious. Okay, from one side, monthly chart and weekly chart have further down to go. I don't think intervening in the middle should be a really clever idea. I believe there should be one more push to below 120 ideally. The lower, the better. That's where the next monster opportunities will build. But keep an eye on this week's CPI. That should be the news that could make it very big time for the pound dollar. Great CPI and further rate cuts in Britain would probably vanish. The opportunities for that would be very small, and the possibilities for that would be very small, of course. So that could be the very interesting one to follow, because pound dollar is very close to its bottom, and its bottom is anywhere in between 120 to 110. I know the range is ridiculously high, but that's what it is about. It's going to find a bottom and going to provide a monster buy opportunities back to 140, 150 at least. I wouldn't even call here some statistics, to be honest, simply because the current move is not that technical, I would say. A lot of fundamental things involved inside, but if we continue the bearish week of this one, next week starts to be extremely interesting, as we have 22, 23, 24, 25 in a row as monster dates Therefore, that's exactly where I would be looking for possible buy opportunities for real. So on the short term, every good news, I would still be looking for possible sells. This is where we might get this correction back to this area. That's around 123, 124. That's more than doable. Don't get me wrong here. That's more than doable. Where from, I believe, sellers are to take the control once again. And this is exactly how I would like to try and play that. On the 1 hour chart, we still have, we still have this trend line which is holding the bottom. We still have this support. We do have some kind of bullish divergence on this correction down here, which on the lower time frames looks like the opportunity. So what I would like to see here in order to try the buys as we start to have some kind of false breaks here is actually gain momentum by creating higher highs, pullbacks, and look for buys with tiny risks and great reward around between 123 to 124. That's for the very, very, very short term. If we can get lower prices here, fine. We need false breaks and we need higher highs. Okay, trendline breakouts, higher highs, pullback, and look for buys. The idea, look for very small risks, huge reward opportunities. Euro pound, crossing between these two, also reached an amazing opportunity levels. We know that, we spoke about it many times. It's still fighting in between 100 to 161. We can say that 161.8 reached, yes we can, but it still can go and play during all this period before it makes the move. For us, it does not change nothing. We want rallies to be sold. Bottom line. So yes, I would prefer to see here some kind of move like that in two waves before right after again would be looking for possible sells. This range starts to be a bit of annoying, ugly, I would say, especially if we take a look on this pair. It's holding its buy action zone. The red ones are buy action zones, blue ones are sell action zones. 4 hour chart, same story. You can see both here. That's why we see this fight, and that's what makes it not really tradable. Looking on statistics, we can learn that the real top is also waiting us at the end of the month, right? Starting from a week after, we have 21, 24, but it's getting more interesting even closer to the end after that, 27, 29. So I believe on the short term there might still be some kind of a rally there, which we will want to go and look for sales. If I'll make it shorter, if we make the rally, look for sales. Bottom line. Pairs of pound crosses like pound Aussie, pound Kiwi, I really don't have anything interesting in my mind. What I do have in my mind is dollar Canadian, which suddenly, out of sudden, breaking here a great pattern. As you can see, two false breaks in a row occurred here with convergential principles, and it's holding very beautifully, and it's breaking the daily chart as well. So I would make it now. I really would like to see the dollar CAD going below 130.50, gaining this momentum, and then it would be classical sell the rallies. So that's basically all. We go below here, this is 130.50, 130.40. If we go below here, that would be a monster call for sell rallies. On the short term, that's exactly where dollar CAD might have some supportive areas. That's closer to 130 actually. You can see that. Okay, here you go is one. That's exactly where we are looking for it, right? On the 4 hour chart, it's a bit lower. 1 hour chart, let's see where we have it. We have it exactly where we wanted it to have it, right? 130.50 approximately. So that's where I believe we might start to get for retraces. That's also where it could go and complete two wave cycles here, right? Get us some action here for reversals and look for sells again on this very zone of sell action zones following the money flow channel. That's really interesting opportunities. Dollar CAD also had on the previous week 11 12 as stops, and this is exactly where we created this last top 12 and started the down move. So it really looks good, it really looks well. We need this breakout, retraces, and then sells, of course. So we want to see this breaking. We are looking for a short-term buys here. Boom, continuation probably for all the way lows. Which brings me to New Zealand versus the Canadian, a pair we are shorting all the way from the top. You remember this pair, I've been talking about it so many times, don't need to go and talk about it again. If you missed my analysis about this one, go back to the previous weekly forecast, please. You'll see everything there. We stay bearish. We want to see the break below this this area right here, this support, in order to call that a real reversal area. On the short term, that's what we have here for this pair. First of all, one big leg, then we had a range here, another leg which could be also in triple cycle. After that, I believe we should get some correction, and one more leg is expected down. So I wouldn't deal with buys, to be honest, here, very risky. But this starts to be a reversal zone, short-term reversal zone. We can see it on daily, we can see it on the 4-hour chart. We are approaching there. So that could be a triple cycle here, which will allow short-term buy opportunities. But don't just buy. The best thing to do would be buy with reversal, something like that. Okay, false breaks, momentum will change by higher highs, and then try the short-term retrace to the upside. Looking on statistical view, the bottoms are actually potentially to happen right at the beginning of this week, or if not, then further on, 23, 24, 25. That's where the massive days go on. So if the 16 is not respected and we just continue straight, that's where we would be looking for reversals. Now note, the 16 is now today, right? It's weekend, so tomorrow is still fine, of course. This is day after. So if we see by any chance some kind of straight drop down with the beginning of the week, making us complete the triple cycle, making us to bounce from the mentioned areas here, that's where we might be looking for the short-term buys. If not, don't even bother, because we do have potential divergence to make that happen, 4-hour and 1-hour watching. But we do need to have that happen on Monday. So if we have straight continuation, look for possible retraces right after that on a very short term, because after that, look for sells, as you already see. Next, the most important days are to come, 23, 24, 25. Okay, so Solaralis could still be a great thing to do. Aussie Kiwi, another pair which I'm looking for a reversal to look for the buys. We're still in this action zone. 4-hour chart now suggests us a possible false break. So there is pretty good chance we are about to get neither this or this. If we have two false breaks in a row, we can start building up with the sell positions. Of course, according to the daily chart, we should from here or bit higher get some reversals down to here, which after very likely would allow us again to join the buyers. And looking on statistics for Aussie Kiwi, we have also very, very powerful days to come, but that's again, we have 16 as potential reversal day. The rest of the things are going to happen later on. We have 20, it's the week after, but actually it starts from 23, 25, 24. Again, monster dates for these pairs. And that's my main opportunities. Now dollar yen, I've been asked a lot what do I think about dollar yen, and I really don't have too clear view as for now. Also statistically watching 1920 by the end of the week, that could be potential reversal area, and this is exactly how I want to play with this one, because the trend line was broken, respected, and the 4-hour chart had for us this kind of cycle. So if we can get one more push lower to provide some bullish opportunity, like in 2 waves, for example, something like this. Okay, we might start to get for false breaks, momentum will change, pullbacks, and try the buys. Okay, because technically we still have the room, right? It's still, if we consider it as a range, we still have the room towards 107, 106, 107, and that's how I prefer to play this one. Buy the drops, right? That's basically the opportunity. New Zealand dollar, sell the rallies remains on, but here comes the but. We had pretty interesting opportunity here. We had one move down where we went for a range, right? This one, and then we got duplication. So in the short term, as long as duplication holds, we could start to get some kind of reversal towards 072 area, which after we would be looking for sales, because I still think that we should get this, completing the triple cycle drop lower. Alright, so this is still my view. Seller rallies for this one would be the thing to do yet. And that's all. Aussie dollar, no real opportunities as for now. Gold and silver, I would like to get one more push for gold in between 12.20, I would say, towards lower to 11.80. Right from there, start to look for the possible buy opportunities to take place. And silver, accordingly, I believe it could make one more low below 17, like 16.50 or so, before we start the rally. S&P, from my point of view, remains under bearish pressure, especially while this trend line holds right now. We got a breakout of the triangle, so it looks pretty nice. And other words, every rally I would try the sells versus the trend line tops. So I believe we are going for some kind of correction while the trend line holds. Before that and besides that, I don't see anything interesting. So that would be all, guys. That would be the opportunities. I hope you enjoy that and you find it useful, of course. If you have any specific pair you want me to talk about and to cover, write down feedback in the comment. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to click the like button. That's, I told you, that's what gives me my motivation to keep working for you guys and help you out with everything I can. Feel free to share that with everyone who you believe can have any benefit by watching that. And thank you very much for your time. During weekend, watch my video. I hope it worth it for you, and I hope you enjoy that. And next week I will be away for the club meeting, so there will be no weekly forecast. But a week after that, of course, I'll see you around, guys. So enjoy your week and happy trading with great opportunities to come. Yours, Vladimir Ribakov.